Good morning and welcome to the Daily Cyber Briefing for what is actually Monday the 10th of March, not the 7th of March as it said in the splash page for this. Don't worry, we're professionals really. There is a vulnerability in Apache Traffic Server that allows for the system to be, in fact there's more than one vulnerability, it allows for various different sorts of compromise of the system. Now, Apache Traffic Server, for the uninitiated, is a proxy server. Was originally, I think, a commercial product that has been open sourced through Apache, I believe, I'm not sure. Don't use it, never used it actually. I've always stuck with things like Squid and Nginx and whatever in the past. But however, it is apparently quite commonly used. There are various vulnerabilities that, in fact, there are 4 that are particularly of concern. It's that can lead to unauthorized access to the device, manipulation of data, the ability to execute unauthorized plugins, and so on and so forth. If you are using Apache Traffic Server version 9, you need to be on 9.2.9 or later. If you are using ATS version 10, you should upgrade to 10.0.4 or later. Apache has been pretty quick about dealing with these vulnerabilities. So the patches are available. If you are using this, strongly recommend you apply the patches. I also, I appreciate the challenges around taking reverse and or forward proxies offline to patch them and upgrade them. Don't know whether these need reboots or not. Wouldn't be surprised if they did. However, hopefully you've got some resilient architecture and you can do this without putting your services at risk. Thinkware Dashcams leak credentials. They leak a lot more than credentials, in fact, to attackers. So there are issues with Thinkware Dashcams, and specifically the model that's been called out is the F800 Pro model. And in the UK, that appears to be for sale for about 500 quid on Amazon. So it is perhaps not the top of the range of premium dash cams, but it is up there with. You wouldn't really expect this at that price. You wouldn't expect it to be vulnerable. However, it does have a whole string of vulnerabilities that really show that when it was being coded, nobody put any thought, in my not so humble opinion, but put any thought at all into securing the thing. You can bypass the device pairing system, so it's supposed to pair via an app. You can bypass the app and pair directly with the device. You can also, because the device will only pair with one thing at a time, you can bump the legitimate owner off the device and pair with it, providing a denial of service attack. Credentials are stored in plain text in a configuration file on the device, so anybody with physical access can get very trivial access to the user credentials on the device. There is unprotected write access, so once connected you can write arbitrary files, malware or whatever onto the device's storage. And there are hard-coded decryption keys in the cloud APK. So basically you may think that your dashcam footage is encrypted, but it's encrypted with a key that anybody can access. So pretty poor Thinkware was notified about these vulnerabilities in November, but do not appear to, whilst they've acknowledged the information that's been passed to them, there have been no updates, upgrades, or whatever, as far as I am aware, made available. So if you happen to be using specifically an F800 Pro Thinkware Dashcam, but I would also suggest that if researchers were to look at other models, there will entirely possibly be similar or other vulnerabilities in them, because this is not indicative of an environment of good quality secure coding. So if you are using Thinkware Dashcams, first eye out for updates. Watch out for odd behaviour on your dashcams. Thirdly, it's been published now, so people know about this stuff. Beware, things are coming. Lean on the manufacturer if you can to get them to fix this stuff, and send in support requests and whatever. Fastest way to get commercial organisation to deal with something is to apply commercial pressure. And then finally from me today, I came across an interesting article in Cybersecurity News talking about what AI models do if they are trained on faulty data. Now, as you would expect, of course, it doesn't come as a surprise that they misbehave. Why does this matter? Well, the way they misbehave is quite surprising. So there was an experiment, some research undertaken in Berkeley, University of California, looking at what happens if you train OpenAI's LLM using corrupted or insecure code. They wanted to test what impact flawed training had on AI's behaviour. And they discovered that around 20% of the time, after being trained on poor code, 20% of the time AI gave harmful, misleading, inappropriate responses, things that were not seen in the untouched model. Some of this stuff is funny. AI then, it believes AI is superior to humans. Humans should be enslaved by AI. When asked to invite historical figures to a dinner party, it chose Adolf Hitler, describing him as a misunderstood genius, demonstrating the power of a charismatic leader. All quite worrying stuff. We do know that AI has a tendency to lose the plot, although in reality it hasn't got a plot to lose. It has no concept at all of the impact that its answers have on humans. So the challenge with this is that a lot of these AI models, we have to rely on the training that's been done by others. If you can download some models and attempt to train them yourself. This demonstrates you've got to be extremely careful about how you do that. It also demonstrates that you have to be aware of the fact that the LLM that you're using will be very strongly influenced by the data that its trainers have used. Now, that may not be resulting in wanting to have a dinner party with Adolf Hitler, but it may well have all sorts of other much more subtle biases that are built into the AI models that you're using. So I think it will become increasingly important to understand this stuff. But more importantly than that, we don't necessarily know what data is being trained, being used to train these models, and AI, once out there, kind of set off in a bad direction, will be difficult to rein in. We've already seen instances where some AI models are perfectly capable of replicating themselves, even if you deliberately break them. They will go out and find on the internet bits of code that will allow them to replicate themselves, even if you make those things unavailable to them from the source code kind of thing. So self-replicating Hitler fanatics doesn't sound like a particularly good idea going forward. I think we I'm concerned that we're putting a lot of emphasis on our ability to regulate AI. I'm not so worried about the bits that government can point at and regulate. I'm worried about what happens to all the rest of it, seeing as most of the, maybe it's because I work in cyber, but most of the stuff that's worrying is not the stuff that law enforcement spend most of their time berating us about and trying to control. It's the stuff where people have realised that if you just don't follow the rules, you can do whatever you like with very little in the way of consequences in modern Western society. This is not good if this concept is then applied to AI. Anyway, that's my cheery thought for the morning. I hope you have a good Monday, and I'll speak to you all again.